Welcome to the Reviews Without Remorse podcast with Joe, Kyle, and Ray. Be warned, the discussions in this podcast will contain detailed spoilers. Enter at your own risk and enjoy the show. Gentlemen, what is happening, my friends? How are you guys?
How's it going?
Great. How about you?
I'm doing well.
I am good. So, Ray, talk to us about the what we're going to do now, because this was your suggestion, and you should get the credit for this. Which means if it's funny, it was my idea.
Crap.
If it's not funny, then it was Ray's idea.
Done. I stumbled on Instagram post, a Reddit feed, whatever it was, and it was describe a movie badly. And I started reading through them, and I thought it was hilarious. Some of them are hard, some of them were easy, but all of them were just a laugh. So I thought it would be interesting, little experiment. We take a couple different movies that we want to do, describe them badly to each other, kind of like a little game show type thing, and see who can get the most out of however many we do. Just thought it would be a fun little exercise.
All right, I love it. So why don't you kick us off so you can set the tone and we'll follow suit or kick it. I don't know how you want it. We think we all picked a couple, so we do like one, two, whatever, and then we'll go around.
I think we go one around each until we give up
Works
or run out.
I'm looking forward to playing this game.
I know. I had a lot of fun writing these. Like reading other people's descriptions, it could be as much as like 3 words to a whole paragraph, but you're still looking at it like, what the hell are they talking about? And some of them are like, oh, okay, they're talking about this. So,
and the trick is to write a description that is technically correct, but still not the way a normal person would summarize a film.
Exactly. Let's see. Do I have an easy one? Let's see. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 to choose from. All right, I'll do this one. Guys ready?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Let's go.
Man takes Dayquil from a stranger, has a bad trip, and becomes cyberpunk Jesus.
That's The Matrix.
That's The Matrix.
Ding, ding, Joe. Good job.
Nice.
All right, Joe, Kyle, you got that one?
I do. Homeless man seduces a socialite away from her family and her station until she changes her mind and drowns him.
The Titanic?
Oh, shit.
Yes.
All right, Joe, you're up.
All right. Purple alien goes on a rampage across the universe so he can complete his rock collection.
Is that, I guess, Infinity War?
Yes.
Oh, shit. Jesus. Purple alien. God, that was good. All right, back to me.
Mm-hmm.
A woman has traumatic experience, takes a long nap only to wake up to join ICE and rescue a salamander. A lot of metaphors in this one. Let me read it again.
Oh. Is it Alien or Aliens?
Aliens. Good job. What was the giveaway, Newt or Ice?
It took a minute. But yeah, rescuing the salamander. That's where I went with it.
Very good.
How about underachiever from a large family who cannot afford to go to college fails to win scholarship?
Read that one again. I missed part of that.
Underachiever from a large family who cannot afford college fails to win scholarship.
PCU?
No, but that's a funny movie. That's a hard movie to find, by the way.
Good Will Hunting?
No. That is one way to summarize Caddyshack.
Oh.
Okay.
And it is a way no one ever would. But
exactly.
it's technically
Nailed
correct.
All right, I got one. Man kills co-workers after getting denied a promotion.
Hmm.
Man kills coworkers after getting denied promotion.
It's
American
a stretch.
Beauty?
Nope.
There's got to be something.
There's
got to be a twist to this one.
Should I tell you?
Sure.
Yeah.
Revenge of the Sith.
Oh, okay. That makes sense. It's funny. I'm thinking like that's got to be like a Terminator or a Star Wars.
That was a little too ambiguous, but
like a franchise movie.
I think this one might be a dead giveaway to one of you. Man with wrong accent commits treason to help his friend move to Montana.
Oh, that's the Hunt for Red October.
Ding ding.
Oh, okay.
You guys are tied 2-2. I've got Zip.
Man, I wrote down some good ones. How about mad scientist prevents a woman from having sex with her own teenage son?
Back to the Future.
Yep.
We're quick on that one.
All right. A monk recruits a teenager to commit an act of terrorism.
That's Star Wars.
Yes, sir.
Goddamn. All right. I got two left, but I think I gave one away the other day. It was a throwaway. Novelist is nursed back to health by a woman with terrible bedside manner.
Oh, Misery.
Ding ding.
Nice.
Are we gonna keep going, or are we done with this game?
I only got one left, so if you got one more.
All right. Finish the
All right.
circle. Let's go.
I've got a couple of good ones, but I'll go with this one. A prostitute, panhandler, and an Ivy League blue blood commit securities fraud and get away with it.
A prostitute and who else?
Yeah, read
A
that again.
prostitute, a panhandler, and an Ivy League blue blood commit securities fraud and get away with it.
The Thomas Crown Affair.
Nope.
Damn it.
That's a pretty harsh commentary on the Thomas Crown Affair. I know you're not a fan, right? But
who's the prostitute in that?
And
who's the panhandler?
I don't know.
Oh man, I feel like this. I feel like when I hear this, I'm gonna hit myself. I give up. I got nothing. Ray, you got anything?
Rain Man? I don't know.
That is my bad description of Trading Places.
Oh shit. Yeah.
Jesus. Yes.
That was actually not even that.
That's a good one
out there. That was actually
that was spot on.
a fairly accurate depiction of the movie. All right, here we go. Man watches his wife die and his only son be disabled after a brutal attack on his front lawn. Years later, his son is then kidnapped. He travels many miles in search of his son with the help of strangers he meets along the way.
I went dark. I'm not even going to say that one.
Man watches his wife die and his only son be disabled after a brutal attack on his front lawn. Years later, his son is then kidnapped. He travels many miles in search of his son with the help of strangers he meets along the way.
I feel like I know this one.
This is another one that's got to be like a lighthearted movie. Like a fun adventure story.
Yeah, Milo and Otis.
Should I tell you?
Sure.
Yeah.
Finding Nemo.
Oh, shit, yes.
That would be one way to describe it.
Accurate. Oh, man, if that's it, I think, Joe, you got 3, Kyle, you got 2, I got 0.
All
right.
Well, Ray, I'll give you one just for you. Let's see if you can guess. Marine veteran returns home from World War II and must corral his kooky siblings and employees after his father retires.
What the hell? Ugh. I got nothing. I'm not thinking outside the box. That's the problem.
That is one way to describe The Godfather.
Yeah.
Ah, shit.
That's nice. Good. Ray, you got one more for us just to finish out?
Sure. All right. This one's kind of a stretch. Man hides the fact he's Catholic from his future mother-in-law, and it's all downhill from there.
Goodfellas.
There you go, Goodfellas.
Nice.
Very good.
Awesome.
Kansas City Shuffle. Well, there's a lot of people. People connected only by the slightest of events.
Then why don't you just go ahead and give me your wallet? Am I being mugged?
That is how these affairs begin.
The cat's in town.
Good cat?
Who's Good Cat?
He shows people die. He vanishes.
What are you looking for?
This is our guy.
Nick Fisher.
Who is he?
Just a loser.
A case of mistaken identity lands Slevin into the middle of a war being plotted by 2 of the city's rival crime bosses. Under constant surveillance by Detective Bukowski and assassin Good Cat, he must get them before they get him. Written by Jason Smilovic, directed by Paul McGugan. I should plan this better. 2006's Lucky Number Slevin.
What a
gentlemen,
great description. There is no room for ambiguity there.
Seriously. Yeah, whose idea was this one? Didn't somebody want to pick this out for some reason?
This was my wife's.
Oh, that's right.
This was Sarah.
Yep.
Yeah, she loves this movie. I'm right there with her. With a few hesitations, but I do love this movie. It is really, really good. To me, if you take your favorite mob movie, add a little 2000s hyper cinematography, pinch of Ocean's 11, garnish it with a wedge of Guy Ritchie style storytelling, and you've got Lucky Number Slevin. To me, it kind of plays like a jazz song and has the dialogue to go with it. It's really good.
Nice. Kyle, talk to me.
It's been a while since I've watched this movie, and I was trying to determine why as I was watching it this time. I don't think I've seen this movie in 10 years at least, but I still have my old DVD copy of it, and that has survived at least 3 moves. So there's a reason I hung on to it, but I'm wondering why I didn't rewatch it. And this time it kind of clicked with me. I think because once you know the twists of the plot, rewatchability kind of diminishes a little bit. There's no more mystery to solve. You know who Slevin is. You know why he's tied up with these 2 criminal masterminds, what his goals are. I think without that mystery, it does lose a little bit of rewatchability. Having said that, Bruce Willis. I mean, when Bruce Willis is on, he is really on. He's one of my all-time favorite actors. And yeah, he did a lot of crap towards the end of his career to pay the tax man and his medical bills. But when he makes a good movie, he's just so much fun to watch. And this is one of those movies.
Agreed.
Yeah. So before I get too deep in, I want to echo that. I remember when the film, I had never seen this before, never seen this movie before. No particular reason. I never got around to it. Just never got around to it. And I remember early into the film, as I'm watching it, feeling like, oh, there's Bruce Willis, and I haven't seen a new Bruce Willis movie in quite a while. So I was kind of really happy to kind of have this, just to get myself a little dose of Bruce Willis, because it's been too long. He looked great in this one. So that was nice. You know, it was sort of a nice thing about this movie. Yeah, with that said, and you're also bringing up a question that I guess I'll ask now instead of saving it, but um having known all the secrets, watching this again didn't play out like The Sixth Sense. Huh? Did you feel watching it that you're kind of picking up clues here and there, or did you feel like that didn't quite work as well?
I think because I'd seen it and knew, and any of those clues were already so apparent. It wasn't like I was uncovering anything as it was going on. This movie is not as sophisticated as Sixth Sense. That's not to say it's bad. It's good. It's very entertaining. It's the kind of movie that I love. I really enjoy Guy Ritchie movies. And this is kind of an imitation Americanization of a Guy Ritchie with that really fast dialogue, and it's not quite a comedy, but it has a lot of comedic moments in it. So it's the kind of movie I like. I just don't find it as sophisticated.
Yeah.
I could see that, yeah.
Yeah, I will wholeheartedly agree with that. I kind of feel like it's funny, right? I feel like I'm getting to my point in a very roundabout way, but you're kind of spelling it out for me. I felt very similarly. I said, this is it's a good solid movie, and I was sort of lumping it in with things like The Usual Suspects.
Yep.
Where you're kind of looking to see who the players are, how this is all going to unfold, the mystery sort of little by little, we're peeling back the layers of the onion, I suppose. But the whole time I'm watching it, I'm also feeling like this movie feels like it's more meant to be fun. It's a very fun, very enjoyable film, kind of right up all of our alley, I think. The kind of film that we kind of all enjoy. But I remember as I'm watching it, feeling like, you know what, I'm like, it was almost like you could tell something was not quite right from the beginning. Like, they sort of start out with this kid who is looking and acting like he really is just a kid in the wrong place at the wrong time. And I feel like not long into this story, you start to say to yourself, that can't be. Like there's something about this kid. He's a little too agreeable to what's happening. He doesn't exactly seem like a fish out of water. He's a little too excited about kind of what's happening. You're a little too into it somehow, I suppose. So you knew almost from the get-go something was kind of off. So and the whole time you're doing that, you're saying to yourself, is it because the writing is a little silly, or is it because there's something else happening? So right away, it's almost like that you're already seeing the juggling act pretty early on, and you're already kind of waiting to see how this all falls into place. So yeah, it's almost to the point where it's like, okay, is it because the writing is not that great that a lot of this is sort of being telegraphed, or am I meant to kind of pick up little hints and clues along the way, and maybe it's gonna sort of make sense at the end? I would say a little from column A, a little from column B.
I almost feel
I could see
watching it this time, it was so clear, like, who else could Slevin be but the kid?
Right.
It just seemed, I think maybe because I know the film, and I know how it plays out, it's so glaringly obvious that Slevin has to be the kid.
Yeah.
I think at the beginning they leave you questioning whether it's Nick Fisher when he's sitting there at the bus stop. But yeah, once Josh Hartnett gets on there as Slevin, he's just so mouthy, and like regardless of the situation. I know they explain that at some point in the movie he has whatever, brain trauma thing where he doesn't, get scared or whatever it is. I don't know if that was supposed to be a throwaway joke or like a legitimate reason behind his behavior. But yeah, like once he starts mouthing off in front of the mob bosses and everything and not caring at all, started to kind of like question things and put things in a little bit more perspective.
But right, like he's taking everything very well. I mean, like I think they break his nose like twice in the beginning, and it's like
my nose is already broken.
He's kind of taking that like a champ, isn't he? For a guy who is supposedly like, just some rando who just got caught up in something.
Yeah, wrong place, wrong time.
Yeah.
Almost like Lebowski. Only
right,
it's cool.
Right, but Lebowski is kind of written so well that he very much feels like a fish out of water. I mean, this is kind of, again, like I said, it's okay because, again, the story does lead us down this other path where I think we're supposed to be guessing who this guy really is, what his motives really are, etc. So yeah, it works, but I kind of feel like, but again, because I'm kind of constantly trying to sort of guess at what the heck is going on, I don't know if I'm getting pulled into it the way the film wants me to. Like it's not leading me down the primrose path. It's telling me that you're on the yellow brick road and anything can happen at this point, I suppose. I will say this though, if the other thing that was similar, like the other character in this, who the whole time I'm saying, okay, what is her angle, is the Lucy Liu character. I'm constantly doing the same thing. I'm like, okay, she pops up out of nowhere, and now she just wants to hang out with this dude and solve the mystery and all this good stuff. And it's like, okay, is it just because we're supposed to believe she just happens to be a character who would do that sort of thing, or is she somebody? And I was sort of, I thought for sure at some point she's going to be somebody. She's working for the enemy. She's working for this one. She's working for that one. But so, again, like I said, part of me wants to say props to the story for keeping me guessing and never really quite knowing. The other part of me is like, or is that just kind of quick and not that great writing?
I think she's
Lindsay kind of got on my nerves. I'm sorry, go ahead, Kyle.
There has to be a character who's not involved with either side, whether it's the rabbi or the boss. There has to be somebody who's not connected to the overarching plot at all. We need a civilian, and I think she actually turns in a pretty good performance as that. Just those people who get really, really into the true crime podcasts and the documentaries about serial killers and things. Like, she comes off as that type of character who would just get really jazzed about solving a mystery that lands on her doorstep.
Have you guys seen Only Murders in the Building?
I have not.
It's
I think I saw the first episode.
Yeah, it's a show with Steve Martin and Martin Short, and what's that girl's name? The youngish girl that all the millennials know, and I just can't remember her name. But it's
that's a long list.
Same, yeah. But same vibe. It's like they're just kind of like, ooh, something happened in the building. Let's kind of play amateur detectives and figure this out. I was getting very much that same vibe from this. Incidentally, too, by the way, I kind of thought good on her, but I feel like I've seen Lucy Liu in so many other things where she seems so much older. She's very much a grown up in all these other movies, and then this one, she sort of played herself off like a 20-something, and it kind of worked. And I was like, good for her.
Yeah, Kyle, to your point, yeah, she does put in like a great performance. But I understand we're watching a 2-hour movie and you have to kind of crunch all that together. But she's just far too trusting to a character that she just walked in on, who's in his towel and the buddy's missing. And that's the part that I couldn't wrap my head around, was that whole part of the story.
I guess she just liked what she saw.
Well, she came back for seconds. Or what was it? She came back for the encore? What did she say?
That's right. And she's a big Bond fan, so can't fault her there.
Well, yeah, true.
That was nice in this too. I didn't realize there were so many Bond references in this movie. That was pretty clever, and I kind of felt it was like, oh, this is fun because the guy whoever wrote it obviously he knows his Bond movies pretty well.
Isn't that nice when you see a Bond reference and it's somebody who knows what they're talking about? I like that.
Yeah.
And who wouldn't want a girlfriend to say, you remind me of James Bond?
Right. Seriously. It's like, I'm already going out with you. You don't got to sell me anymore.
Oh man, what does Krieger say? I can only get so erect.
Boss wants to see you. Who's the boss? The guy we work for.
I'm not the guy you're looking for. I don't live here.
Yeah, well, you look like the guy that lives here.
Then you don't know what the guy that lives here looks like.
What he means to say is you look like you live here.
Yeah, that's what I mean to say.
Sorry. What happened to your nose?
It's a very long story.
This movie borrows a lot from movies that I really, really like. I do think it's trying a little bit to be Snatch. Snatch, I find to be funnier. This is a little bit darker, but it really reminds me of Yojimbo / Fistful of Dollars, where an infiltrator just has two crime families and manipulates them both to destroy one another. That's kind of where I thought that this movie was going. It's sort of like a Fistful of Dollars, Yojimbo type of plot. The enemy of my enemy, that whole routine.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, that is kind of the, this movie is sort of a mixed bag because I feel like there's certain things in here, to your point, that are pretty genius, and then there's other things that feel a little bit schlocky. And I think there's a couple reasons for each. But yeah, no, I do agree that I think deep down it's a pretty great story in that respect. I almost wonder if the film, because they're playing him off to be this kind of complete nobody in the beginning, and either they don't see that through or they just don't do that part really effect. I wonder if they kind of shot themselves in the foot. Like maybe the film would have made more sense if he was somebody who had some stakes in this game, but just not the stakes that we're thinking of, or something to that effect. Because again, just having him kind of be this kind of rando. Oh, I literally just stumbled into the wrong apartment or something. In fact, I kind of even missed the thing about why he was even in that apartment to begin with. I blinked in the very, very beginning or something, and all of a sudden he's in this apartment. He doesn't belong there. He's not that guy, but we'll just go from there. So
he was going to visit Nick. Nick wasn't there or didn't show up. And he came to the apartment. He didn't have a key. How'd he get in? It was unlocked. That's where all the questions that Lindsay's asking him stems from. And that's why he's bouncing around trying to kind of, cover his ass and make it, where's this? Bah, 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 bah. And she knows where everything is. And she's been in this apartment a bunch of times, which is also kind of weird too. She knows where everything is. But I think that's where they're going with that. But then she's just far too trusting, and that's what takes me out of it. But I get what you're saying.
Yeah, and then of course you get to, oh, by the way, I'm the city coroner. Well, that's kind of helpful. That I can see why that would be a big part of this plot. By the way, like
right,
that worked out nicely.
You just kind of threw that in at the end there.
Yeah, and meanwhile, the real reason he's there is because Nick Fisher owes money, and he needs to get picked up in order to infiltrate his enemy.
Yeah,
that's really why he's there.
Yeah, I mean, he essentially frames Nick Fisher to actually lose all this money, but then steps in his place when knowing that they're going to come collect him or something, right?
Right. Well, he picks out a guy who owes a lot of money.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
So he steps in the role and then adds to the role that he's the wrong guy, even though he's the right guy, but the wrong guy. Does that make sense?
Incidentally,
he's intentionally being the wrong guy.
I have a kooky next door neighbor whose name is Lindsay, and she would know where the sugar is in my apartment.
Is she a coroner? You might want to be careful.
I found that to be really funny this time around. I'm like, wait a second.
So here's one of the stumbling blocks that I have with this film. I again, like I said, I'm watching this film well aware that the name of the game is fun. I mean, all of the dialogue. Like I'm not saying that to make it sound like the story is cheapened by this or by any stretch, but all of the dialogue is kind of meant to be fun. It's meant to I mean, all the dialogue is what I would call banter. It's that kind of stuff. A lot of pop culture references, all that good stuff. I think the one thing that kind of pushes the film a little too far towards being a tiny bit schlocky and again not something I can really absorb myself in. I think the casting is I don't know if the casting is great because I sort of feel like in a lot of places I'm just sort of looking at going like, oh, that guy's here, oh, that guy's there. And the one that really stuck out to me that I just could not buy at all was Morgan Freeman. I was saying, no. Morgan Freeman narrates your life story. Morgan Freeman is the wise sage who gives you good, sound advice, that kind of stuff. I mean, I was even thinking, even in Shawshank Redemption, just seeing Morgan Freeman playing that character made you feel like, okay, he probably got a raw deal. Maybe he didn't even do what they accused him of because it's Morgan Freeman, So seeing him as a mob boss, even as he's delivering his lines, I was still saying like it was almost like I'm saying to myself, Morgan Freeman, you better punch this kid or do something bad because if I'm this kid, I'm not scared of you at all because you just seem like this kindly old guy. I feel like he probably needed to do something a little more sinister to try to make the character a little more believable as a baddie.
It is
I
kind
think
of
the way he
hard.
delivers his lines, he's pretty rough.
But it's hard to see, to Joe's point, it's hard to see Morgan Freeman as a bad guy just because I think we're so conditioned to see him be this avuncular, very charming, very soothing, calming presence.
He also played
he's
God.
Not playing here. That's true. That could be why. So I don't know if it's his performance or if he was just the wrong guy for a part like this. I mean, this movie has no shortage of talent, but is it
for sure
always utilized properly is the question.
Yeah. Well, that's it. What you're saying is very similar to the argument I keep making about Christoph Waltz and Spectre. Christoph Waltz being Blofeld, even though we've seen Christoph Waltz play chilling villains before, I don't know that it works in a film like Spectre because you're not going to really see him do very terrible things. So he kind of comes across as being very calm and very passive and very whatever. So it's like, yeah, I mean, if that's how you were going to write this character, then that's not the actor I would have put there.
But I mean, we've had him be bad guys before too. I mean, what was it? Wanted? Was that the one where he plays the bad guy, where they can curve the bullets and all that stuff?
I remember that movie coming out, but I never saw it.
I saw it, but I can't remember. You might be right, but I probably would have made the same argument there too. It's like I'm not buying him as a baddie. I mean, this guy again. You really if he wants to play against type, then he really needs to, or the director really needs to make him do something that is chilling. I mean, like seriously, he's doing the scene with the kid where he's essentially like kind of walking down the hallway with his arm around him, and I'm saying like now that would be edgy if it was someone else. If you had just seen this guy do something horrible to someone else and then he puts his arm around you, it's you're the hairs on the back of your neck bristle because you're terrified. This guy, he's playing nice guy, but he could just kill you at any minute. Morgan Freeman never gives that vibe. He never ever comes across as, I could do something terrifying at any minute, so you better be scared. Honestly, the entire time he's I'm soothed. I'm to the point where it's like I thought the kid was going to be like, listen, I'll just be on your team and we'll just call it a day. Like, like whatever you tell me to do, you're a nice guy, so I'm going to hang out with you.
You almost wonder what the tone of the movie is supposed to be when he's giving his what should be like the villain monologue. It does come off as kind of like smiley.
Yes.
So to me, it makes the movie lighter, at least at that point. Like I'm not afraid of him. So maybe as a viewer, I'm like, okay, maybe they're playing this a lot more for jokes than they're playing a straight Usual Suspects type of crime caper.
Right. Well, that's the thing. Yeah, and I think that's the thing. The like Morgan Freeman not feeling like a bad guy is also going to what I said about the kid. It's like he doesn't seem to me either to be this innocent, caught in the wrong place at the wrong time kind of guy. And again, does the movie want me to sort of pick up on that or not? So I'm not that is kind of the problem throughout this. I don't want to call it a problem. It's a conscious choice, I think, that the film makes to sort of play it this way. But I don't know if it would have been like I think this movie was probably just one or two rewrites away from being The Usual Suspects, a movie that we might have been talking about for years, as opposed to something that feels a little more throwaway at this point. While we're talking about the casting, though, I thought Ben Kingsley was pretty good.
Well, that's what I was just going to say. How can you hate on Freeman for not being menacing? Sir Kingsley as the rabbi, he's not much better. I mean, they both deliver some excellent dialogue. I think so anyway. I think some of it is like pure poetry. In fact, I actually wrote down one of the rabbi's quotes. Or I'm sorry, just the quotability of the movie. Where he goes on his thing about being unlucky. Unlucky is just a frame of reference, or unlucky is just a frame of reference for the lucky. That whole monologue was fantastic, and he delivered it perfectly. I think there's a lot of like hidden, not quite Shakespeare, but like modern day mob Shakespeare in the dialogue, and both Freeman and him deliver him exceptionally well. I wouldn't, like you, to both your points, I don't think either of them are menacing, but I wouldn't say one would be better than the other. So with that, Joe, I didn't mean to cut you off. I just wanted to
No. Trust me, I'm sucking up way too much air out of the room anyway. No, your point's fair. But I remember feeling like I thought that Kingsley really did morph into this character, as opposed to Freeman, who's basically doing Morgan Freeman. It wasn't like Morgan. And again, I think Morgan Freeman is a brilliant actor, but I would not say that he's a guy who has a ton of range. I feel like he's essentially playing Morgan Freeman in most of the things he's in. Kingsley, I thought, if I didn't know that was Ben Kingsley, I probably could have been, he could have caught me totally by surprise. Felt like a whole different guy. But again, I once you see him playing Gandhi, it's kind of like, well, come on, let's.
But I think part of the reason why I have an easier time seeing Ben Kingsley play this type of part than Morgan Freeman, because I've seen Ben Kingsley play a character like this already. He plays a very similar character in Sexy Beast, so I know he can do menacing, evil crime boss, kind of insane. I've never seen Morgan Freeman do that before, and to Joe's point, I don't see him do anything new to inhabit that part that's different from Morgan Freeman being Morgan Freeman.
Yeah,
that's not to hate on Morgan Freeman. He's a
not the slightest.
Yeah,
no.
Again, this is why casting people make casting decisions. I mean, this is why, casting the right people in certain roles is important. I mean, and there's just some times where you put somebody in a certain role, you're just going to say, yeah, I don't know that I agree with that or would buy it necessarily. So, but I mean, again, he's fine. It's not like that. Not like the whole movie unravels because of Morgan Freeman or anything, but
right.
Speaking, I feel like a lot of the talk that we're doing about this movie is about the casting, but I remember, and again, this movie came out a long time ago, never got around to it, seeing it for the first time. I'm I kept looking at the rest of the cast saying, okay, I see a lot of really recognizable faces here. And then I thought to myself, how odd that they picked a complete unknown to play the main character. And then I kind of was like, well, wait a second. Who is this guy? Like, so of course I look it up, right? And I see his name is Josh Hartnett. And I kind of went, oh, well, yeah, I recognize that name. He's very popular. And then I kind of go to look at his IMDb and I realize, well, this is actually his biggest movie. So for a guy whose name is very familiar, I don't think I've ever seen him in anything else. I don't think I saw any of the other things that he like everything else besides this one was very small stake stuff.
Well, he started on TV, right? Wasn't he like a teeny bopper, heartthrob kind of guy?
Probably, yeah.
The things that I knew him from before this movie came out, and I saw this movie pretty soon, like when it was pretty current, but everything that I had seen him in before this movie sucked. Pearl Harbor, stinker.
Yeah,
40
right.
40 Days and 40 Nights, terrible. Hollywood Homicide, the worst movie Harrison Ford ever made. Until this. And this is the one where, like, okay, this guy is more than a teeny bopper. This guy can actually do it. Like, he can headline a movie and put in a good performance and make a good film around him as the lead. I don't know too much of what he's done since, except for a Showtime series called Penny Dreadful, which was spectacular. Yep. I would really, if you like classic Gothic horror, check out that show. Timothy Dalton and Eva Green are the other two leads. But prior to this movie, you're right, Joe. The stuff that he did, I mean, Pearl Harbor was a big hit, but it's not good. And then he made a bunch of rom-coms and a really shitty Harrison Ford comedy. So until this, no one, he would not have crossed your radar.
Yeah. I mean, but again, the rest of the cast is pretty stellar. Who is the guy that we're constantly? Stanley Tucci's the one that we're constantly. We can't remember if it's him or. Is Andrew Strong?
No, Lord Blackwell.
Mark Strong.
Mark Strong.
Mark Strong, yeah.
There's a resemblance.
Just a little. I think we have something against bald people.
Menacing bald people. Although Stanley Tucci, he does actually have range. I buy him as a corrupt cop, and I buy him as Miranda Priestley's assistant in The Devil Wears Prada. He plays both of those parts really well.
I would agree with that. Yeah, he does. He's sometimes he's the good guy, sometimes he's the bad guy, and both work. I agree.
I loved him in Kingsman.
Yes, that was the other one.
Oh, God damn it!
That was Mark Strong. You're close.
Sherlock Holmes, that right? No.
I remember
who else was
thinking. I remember thinking the first couple of times I watched this movie, and again, I haven't watched it in a long time, which is one of my criticisms, the rewatchability of it. But I remember thinking that the plot was overly convoluted in the past. This time around, I did not have that problem. And it could be because I knew the twists, and I know how it's going to unfold, and I know what the protagonist's goals are. So I didn't find it to be particularly convoluted, but a lot of the reviews were criticizing the plot as just being unnecessarily complex. What did you guys think of the plot?
You want to go first, Joe?
I don't know. I don't know if I would agree with that, but I was feeling at certain moments that I was kind of like struggling to keep track of certain things. I think by the time again, they do a lot of, in the beginning, they set a lot of things up, meaning that they'll show clips of things sort of purposely out of order. So that so then later on, when we flash back to this, it'll sort of make sense.
Kansas City Shuffle.
Yeah. I mean, so, and so good stuff. But I did sort of, again, I felt like as the reveal was starting to happen, I found myself doing that Sixth Sense kind of thing. Like, okay, now that I know the thing is, does it all make sense looking back? Well, like for the most part, sure. I mean, again, Bruce Willis, they purposely get him because he's the killer who's willing to do weird stuff. Like he's willing to basically kill this little kid. And then he decides, no, not only can I not kill him, but I think I'm going to now be an adoptive father and change my entire life to raise this random child. Okay, if the movie tells me that, then fine. But I was kind of feeling like, don't know if I buy that, but whatever, that's fine. And then and actually, then I kind of when they got around to the bit at the end where he sets up Lucy Liu's murder. And I kind of thought like, now this guy has essentially been your father since you were 9 or 10 or something or other. You couldn't have had a conversation saying, can we not bump this one off? I mean, so again, it's a twist for the audience, but I'm saying to myself, like, I just kind of wasn't really sure if I was buying the idea that they would literally have to stage this murder to help her escape. Like, I mean, she's quite literally a nobody at this point. Like, I don't know why they're even treating. It's not like she even has like the kid hadn't even really like revealed to her this is my true motive or anything, unless the film's trying to imply that maybe he did. So why she needed to get bumped off and why she needed to get rescued was a little bit of a stretch, but that's kind of where I was.
True. And I see both your points, and I think my opinion is kind of a combination of the two as far as that, Kyle. I've seen it a million times. And Joe, you just saw it first time. So I kind of found myself like kind of not paying as close attention, thinking like, I've seen this scene. Okay, write my notes down, not paying attention, miss a possible plot point. So I was more relaxed watching it and probably didn't have any of that shock value that would have come along. So to me, like the story was what it was the last time I watched it, which kind of hurt it because it's different now after not watching it for so long. So I have more criticisms over the web as I would have had the previously watching it. So I probably missed all those points. So I couldn't tell you if that they all twined together as well as they did the last time I watched it. It still blew my mind. This is a couple years later. Watched it again, half-ass paying attention. I'm like, because I've seen it, and that kind of hurt my review of it. But yeah, I could totally see that it doesn't have the same watchability, and the strings don't attach the way I remember them attaching.
Yeah, I mean, again, I feel like the film maybe just, I don't want to say has an identity crisis, but I kind of feel like had they zeroed in a little tighter on a specific tone, they might have had something that went from good to excellent to really, really good. I mean, like to your point, when Bruce Willis, they do this whole bit where Bruce Willis and Josh Hartnett are in the apartment and they blow up the apartment. And then later, Morgan Freeman is saying to him, you were hired to make this look like this was not a job. Now it looks like it was very much a job. And I'm kind of sitting there doing the same thing, watching this, kind of making this, I'm feeling similarly. And then Morgan Freeman just seems like all of a sudden, like something happens. He just kind of rolls with it. He goes, but all right, well, since you did that, we'll play it this way or something or other.
Well, what's Morgan Freeman going to do?
What's that?
What's he going to do to like the killer of killers? It's the guy you call in when nobody else will take that job. You're going to argue with him. You fucked up. He's going to turn around and kill you. And so that's how I read that scene. Anyway.
I don't know, but I mean, if you're that
you can't argue with.
If you're that scared of your hired hitman, then you don't hire that hitman. But I mean, I think I would have said, why did you make this choice? Like, it was almost like he literally said, you made this look like a job. Doesn't ask him, why did you do this? He just decides to, all right, well, change of plans. We'll do something else.
And you're taking a 10% pay cut out of it.
I wish I had bosses that were that cool.
I guess it's just a case of what's done is done.
Yeah.
You got to look more menacing, Joe.
I feel like I'm being harsh on this movie, and I don't want to be. It's a good movie. I don't know that it's a great movie. Like I said, I compared it to Snatch, which I think is funnier, or The Usual Suspects, which is a better puzzle. And this one is neither of those things. It's kind of somewhere in between the two. I think if the puzzle were a little bit more elaborate and a little bit more sophisticated, I'd like it more. Or if it was more comical, I would like it more. It doesn't really pick a lane with its tone.
Yeah.
True.
I feel like I feel like this sort of goes into a larger pile of films that are kind of like this. Like to your point, I feel like I the whole time I'm feeling a lot of other kinds of films in here. The frustration is when you're thinking of films that probably did a little bit better, but you know, right? I mean, it does fall. It's almost like it creates its own genre at this point. A lot of, again, Guy Ritchie, these other heisty sort of movies with a little bit of violence here and there, that sort of thing. In fact, I actually, so this movie, because this was sort of one of those on my bucket list that I never got around to and finally broke down and watched it. I happened to watch this on a Friday night where I had the TV to myself. So it was like steak, bottle of wine, and just kind of enjoying the silence for a little while, watching a good movie. And I liked it. I enjoyed it very much. And it made me want to go grab something else that I hadn't gotten around to yet, which was Kiss Kiss Bang Bang.
Oh yeah, I like that movie a lot.
But I'll tell you what, again, maybe do this when you're not 3/4 into a bottle of wine, because I got halfway through that movie and I was like, maybe I'm not really in the mood for this right now, because it was like just that just hyper dialogue-y heavy, witty, snappy. I'm like, I can't keep up. Again, like I said, I probably, if I did that a little earlier with a little less wine, I would have liked it. But that's kind of just the point I'm trying to get to. Is like I feel like there's a whole genre of films that are like this. And I feel like this one kind of at the end of the day, it feels almost like the cherry coke of that genre. And again, not to belittle it, or but again, if it had just kind of streamlined itself and got a little tighter on certain things, and maybe got a little less kind of fun, and kind of went for a little more of a serious tone, I think you really could have had a great movie here.
I think the dialogue is kind of what makes this movie. I mean, you have some funny stuff like I'm going to say what a man says, what a man with two penises says to his tailor if he dresses to the left or to the right. Yes, like you have stupid humor like that.
That is a good joke.
That was really good. But then you have stuff like towards the end of the movie when Slevin is talking to, I think it's the boss and the rabbi. Where to me it's kind of poetry. Where do you find names? In books. And who has books? Well, your bookies have books. Crooked bookies who have books with big time crooks. Like that reads like prose, not dialogue to me. I like stuff like that that happens in the film, and especially with the rabbi and the boss when they talk like that. I'm like, Jesus, this is like so much better than a typical movie of that genre. And I think it's the dialogue that's what saves it for me, along with, I mean, the original time, like you guys said, that you watch it, and when everything comes together, you're like, oh shit, I was not expecting that. Or you had hints of expecting it, but then it all just gets tied together with a nice little bow at the end. But yeah, that's what I thought was great about it, and that's what kind of keeps me watching it, hoping I'm going to pick something else up and maybe correct those little things. But yeah, like you said, after rewatching it over and over and over, you kind of lose that interest to it, or you lose that, oh, I already know where this is going. So that excitement is just kind of gone from it.
Tell me that story.
Well, there's this guy and they call him the boss. I'm sorry, who are you?
I'm the boss.
They picked up the wrong guy.
Wrong guy for what?
Whatever it is you want to see me about.
Do you know what I want to see you about?
No.
Then how do you know I have the wrong guy?
And then right across the street lives this man they call the rabbi.
Why do they call him the rabbi?
Because he's a rabbi.
Shlomo wants to see you.
I don't know anyone named Shlomo.
Someone named Shlomo knows you.
How do you justify being a rabbi and a gangster?
Killing you before you killed me would have been
Kosher.
I'm really curious where this director has been since, because I only recognize a couple of things that he's done. He did a couple of episodes of Sherlock. He did a couple of episodes of Designated Survivor. He did a movie called Gangster Number One, which is very much imitation Guy Ritchie. But I haven't seen anything since Lucky Number Slevin that he's done that's really been a big hit or even a modest hit. Like, has he made films since then? And he's certainly a capable filmmaker. Film Stars Don't Die in Liverpool. I don't know if you guys caught that one. It's actually an Eon movie that's nothing like it's nothing like this, and it's nothing like a James Bond film, but it's actually a really good moving film. That's like the only other movie, like big budget Hollywood release I've ever heard of that he's done. So I don't know where he's been. He's got the talent. Make another movie.
Yeah. I see him with a lot of TV and not shabby stuff. I mean, some decent
Sherlock
things.
was a great show.
Yeah. Designated Survivor was good, and he did that.
Yep.
But yeah, I mean, it's I mean, it does kind of make you wonder, like, well, how come? I mean, this movie. I mean, the movie was impressive in its scope. You know, it was not nothing about this seemed kind of low budget or shortcutty or cheap or anything. So I mean, it was a pretty solid movie.
Yeah, it's a well-made, competent film. I think it did decent at the box office. It wasn't a blockbuster, but I mean, for all intents and purposes, this movie was a success. Why hasn't there been something else?
Yeah,
for sure.
Friends of yours?
Not exactly.
Where's my money?
I'm not Nick Fisher.
And who the hell are you?
I'm just a guy who was in the wrong place at the wrong time.
You're getting good at this.
Nice. I'm paying you a lot of money to kill somebody. I'm a world-class assassin. Don't worry, I'm gonna kill somebody.
All right, gentlemen, I think it is time to score Lucky Number Slevin. Who wants to go first?
I'll go. I'm not being cheeky. The best score I think for this movie is a 7. It's rock solid. I enjoy watching it. I was really excited when Ray suggested it. It's funny, witty. I love those types of crime films, but it's not quite up there with Snatch, Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels, Layer Cake, Usual Suspects. Those are all better movies. This is good, and I think it's just 2 steps down from great. So Lucky Number Slevin gets a 7.
Raymond?
Not bad. Going into it, I was expecting to be somewhere around like a 9, but I knew it wasn't going to quite get there. So initially, before I even rewatched it, I was at an 8.8. After rewatching it and talking to you guys, again, it's that rewatchability aspect, which knocks it down. First time you watch it, it could easily be like a 9 or higher for you.
I would agree.
But after rewatching it so many times, it's still a great movie. I'm at an 8.2.
Nice. I think I'm on the same page with Kyle. I was going for a 7. I think there was a part of me that was leaning like towards 6-ish, but I was like, no. I think it's better than the 6. It's definitely a solid 7. I like, and again, I keep sort of I maybe it's not a tad bit unfair to keep comparing it to similar movies that are just a little bit more memorable. But I think the fact that it's even in that ballpark tells me that it's a pretty solid film. So I think a 7 is fair. I think it's a good movie. Probably not one that I'll put on rewatch a lot, but I absolutely enjoyed every minute watching it.
It's really well made. There's nothing really wrong with it. It's just not great.
Agreed. But for your consideration, gentlemen, what do we got?
Who wants to go?
Okay. So for your consideration, I enjoy this kind of snappy dialogue. It's stuff that we see in like Ocean's 11, Guy Ritchie movies. You add that with that mix of kind of, this is modestly done, but that hyper stylized cinematography. You don't see it all the time. It's not in your face and constant. It's a neo-noir story, which we don't quite get very often. And it's highly entertaining. So, I mean, you're not going to be disappointed watching it. So, yeah, I think it's a solid, and it's solid and entertaining. And the dialogue is what keeps me going back to it, because every time you get some fun little quotes in there. So.
All righty. Kyle?
I'm going with Robert Forster. He's only in it for a minute or two, but he's one of my favorite. Oh, it's that guy actors. I'm a huge fan of Jackie Brown. It's one of my all-time favorite films, and he just knocks that role out of the park. So anytime he shows up in a movie like this, I am there for it. This is where he belongs in this type of film, in this kind of world. So I was really excited, and I forgot that he was even in this. So when he did show up, I really smiled.
Yeah. I'm glad you mentioned that, because honestly, I think one of the things that I was sort of on the fence about was the idea that somebody who is not in this film, a total different person in the film, gets on the phone and basically explains the entire plot of the movie to Stanley Tucci. And I remember thinking like, okay. But the fact that it was Robert Forster, I kind of feel like carried a lot of weight there.
Yes.
So I was like, if anybody's going to do that, it should be him. So that
100%.
worked. Yeah. Nice. I'm gonna pick something a little silly. Just a little fun fact as I was sort of scanning the trivia. According to the DVD commentary with Josh Hartnett and Lucy Liu, Lindsay's reaction when she walks in on Slevin with his towel open is real. The screen was scripted, but Josh Hartnett actually flashed Lucy Liu without telling her prior to filming. Nice. I'm gonna let that be my.
All right. Josh Hartnett hanging dong is
that's right
for your consideration.
There you go. But who asked you?
Cal, you want to start this one off? Or you
sure. It's a silly thing, a stupid thing, but it's when Ben Kingsley says, "How about them Yanks?" It's at that point where his performance is no longer believable, and now I know he's doing an impression. That's okay. You went too big. You need to dial that down. You're at an 11. We need you at like an 8 to keep up the ruse that you are this Jewish gangster. That was just one too many. Pushing it.
Yeah. By the way, you're reminding me. I'll never remember the name of this movie, but it took place in New York City, and I remember it had people like Bridget Fonda, John Cusack, all trying to play New Yorkers. And there's nothing more annoying than watching non-New Yorkers try to lay on like a New York accent. It's like, guys, just stop. So yeah, I get that.
Yep.
Understandable. 100%.
Took me out of the movie for a minute. Not for long, but for that minute.
Ray, what do you got?
Oh, who asked you? My who asked you is Lucy Liu's character, Lindsay. She belongs on Love on the Spectrum. She's a yappy little chihuahua, and she just annoyed the hell out of me. I don't buy her character putting that much trust into a stranger that's in her friend's apartment, and her friend apparently, or you would think her friend would have mentioned, a friend is coming to town, and she even, I believe, mentions that at some point at the very beginning in their meeting. But she's just far too trusting, and then they fall in love. I hate movies that have these weird relationships that just fall into place perfectly, and this is one of them for me.
Yeah. By the way, I mentioned Only Murders in the Building. Selena Gomez is the young girl playing.
Oh, she was in that?
Yeah, it's Steve Martin Short, and Selena Gomez. And of course, Selena Gomez has to play like the young millennial to sort of offset the two old cranks. And that's who she reminded me of in this. Yeah, she was very much that character in this. Similar to what you said, I'm gonna go back, and again, I feel like I spent half of this show picking on him, but I just felt like Morgan Freeman just did not work for me at all as the mob boss. And again, he's a brilliant actor, but the people in charge of casting should, keep in mind that he's very well known for playing the opposite of this. I don't know if he makes any logical sense as being the mob boss to the point where when he's finally done in at the end, I'm still trying to force myself to, oh, okay, he's a baddie, so that's why this is all happening. So I'm gonna give it to that.
Gotcha. And to that point too, that's something I noticed at the end regarding the two characters I forgot to mention. When Slevin puts the bags on their heads and then wraps them with tape, the rabbis accept it. He accepts his fate. Like, he doesn't struggle. He sits there, he closes his eyes. He's like, yeah, I fucked this kid up. Meanwhile, the boss, Morgan Freeman's character, is kind of doing the thrashy, trying to breathe type thing, way more than the rabbi. It was just like something interesting that I picked up. And you talking about how you didn't buy him as a bad guy.
I was just thinking that if you're still alive when I get back from work tonight, maybe we could go to dinner or something?
Gentlemen, I think that is lucky number Slevin, and thank you Sarah for requesting this movie and forcing me to finally watch it, because I really can't believe I haven't seen this before, but I'm glad I did.
It's a good choice.
Yeah,
I enjoyed it.
Solid Saturday night popcorn film.
Yeah, absolutely.
No doubt.
It worked very well. All right, gentlemen, I will thank you very much, and I will see you here next time.
Sounds good.
Always
Take
a
care.
pleasure.
Thanks for listening to the Reviews Without Remorse podcast with Joe, Kyle, and Ray. Join us here every Thursday for a new episode. You can also find our episodes on our YouTube channel. Check the link in the description. All clips in this podcast are for commentary and critique and are considered fair use. No copyright infringement is intended.